Have you ever felt brokenhearted or crushed in spirit? It's a feeling that, unfortunately, is all too familiar to many of us. When the weight of the world seems to settle on our shoulders and our hearts feel as though they've been shattered into a million pieces, it's a struggle that can leave us feeling isolated, alone in our suffering. This emotional turmoil can take a heavy toll on our mental well-being. It can feel like we're walking through a never-ending tunnel with no light in sight. It's a struggle that can leave us feeling drained, both physically and emotionally. But remember, you're not alone in this struggle. Many people have walked this path before you, and many will walk it after you. It's a common human experience, one that connects us all in a deep and profound way. In these moments of despair, it's comforting to know there's a source of strength and comfort we can turn to. The verse from Psalms 34:18 tells us, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted. He rescues those whose spirits are crushed." Delving deeper into this verse, let's unpack it phrase by phrase, starting with, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted." This phrase implies God's empathy and presence in our times of sorrow. It's a gentle reminder that God isn't a distant, detached deity. Instead, He is intimately close, especially during periods when we feel our hearts are breaking. You know those moments, right? When life seems too unbearable, when the pain seems too great, when our hearts feel like they're shattering into a million pieces. It's in those moments this verse tells us that God is the closest. He's not standing on the sidelines. He's right there with us, sharing our pain, understanding our sorrow, and extending His divine comfort. Moving on to the second part of the verse, He rescues those whose spirits are crushed. This doesn't merely mean God watches our suffering from afar. No, it means He actively works to alleviate our pain. The word rescue here is powerful. It suggests an active, forceful response to our distress. It's not a passive observation, but a decisive action. Think of a lifeguard diving into treacherous waters to save a struggling swimmer. That's the image this verse evokes. God plunges into the depths of our despair, braving the turbulent waters of our sorrow, to rescue us. He doesn't just offer words of comfort, He delivers us from our pain. This verse isn't just a comforting thought, it's a promise. A promise from the Creator of the universe that He will be there in our darkest hours, not just as a silent observer, but as an active rescuer. So let's take heart from this verse from Psalms. When we're down and out, when our spirits are crushed, let's remember that we're not alone. God is close to us, sharing our pain, and more than that, He is actively working to rescue us from our despair. This verse is a source of hope and reassurance that in our darkest moments, we are not alone. So what can we take away from this verse in Psalms? In our journey through this video, we've uncovered the profound message nestled within Psalms 34 verse 18. It's a message of reassurance, a beacon of hope for those grappling with heartache and despair. It tells us that God, in His infinite compassion, draws near to the brokenhearted. He doesn't remain a distant observer but steps into our pain, standing beside us in our darkest hours. But the verse goes even further, promising not only presence but rescue. It's a lifeline to those whose spirits are crushed, whispering the promise of deliverance and healing. It's a reminder that no matter how profound the pain, how overwhelming the despair, we are not abandoned. God is actively working on our behalf, turning our mourning into joy, our despair into hope. This message is both comforting and hopeful. It reassures us that we are not alone in our struggles and that there is a way out of the darkness. It encourages us to cling on to hope, even when it seems elusive, and to trust in the promise of rescue. In our struggles and despair, remember that we are never alone, and rescue is never too far away.